Unknown. Unknown.
Dude, why you gotta interrupt me every time I'm reading a dope book?
Oh, okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Questionnaire. I am your host, Jay D-Day Hardaway, and that guy reading the comic book down there's the unknown factor. Reading.
Yeah.
And this is our guest. And this is our guest, Ander Zarate. How are you doing, brother?
Really good, guys. Appreciate it for having me here in your podcast. So thanks, guys.
Well, I appreciate you. He's obviously reading.
Hey, look, not everyone enjoys cream filled. All right, I want to point that out. And this is Dopeness by Doug Wagner. Yeah, plastic. Make sure y'all check that out. But that is not the point.
Filled.
What are we
No,
on?
Why are you talking about cream filled?
Read the comic and you would get it, man. All right, you got to read the comic book plastic, and then you would understand the reference, right? That's why you need to read more comics, Hardaway. But again, that is neither here nor there on this particular interview, man. But I like to throw my co-host under the bus, so I'm gonna continue to do it because I'm a dick.
Geez, I ain't even got my hat on. I'm all feeling weird naked. All right, so why do you stay in the comic book industry? What keeps you here?
Money, you know. I mean, being like real. No, like it was kind of like an accident. Started in the comic book industry actually. Like since I kid, I actually were like more I was more into animation than comic books. You know, like I was born in Mexico. I used to cross like a lot of times to the States because I live near the border. My dad's from San Diego. My mom's from Baja. So I got a little bit of both sides. And comic books were not that big in Mexico, but animation was. So I always wanted to know, you know, like do illustration, stuff like that. I was studying graphic design. And, you know, it was kind of like an accident, like I mentioned, like, you know, starting like in Photoshop, doodling with a tablet and all that. And suddenly, you know, some random guy brought me on DeviantArt, the website that most of the artists start on. And like, hey man, I like your stuff. Would you like to work with me and all that stuff? They were like, I never even considered that. Like, job was just a hobby, you know. I was studying graphic design at the moment, but you know, I loved it. I love coloring, and besides comic books, I work in different stuff like you know animation, and I just love coloring. I do draw and design, but my main strength is painting. So I've been working in this industry for more than 10 years, and you know, I just love it. I love working from home, you know, freelancing. That's a big plus. I have my own schedule. I mean, deadlines are crazy, you know, like sometimes 4 a.m. stuff like that. But you know, I just love it, and it's fun to work in this. So yeah.
Nice. You got a question, or you want me to keep going?
Look, no, I just gotta pick a bone with him, right? Right, because and I understand your answer because you know the pre-show questionnaire. We do that for a reason, so we can pick your mind on a whole different level of just some comic book related material. Why specifically do you think Spawn didn't live up to the comic? I'm curious, and I mean I have opinions on that. Much love to Todd McFarlane. Anybody wants to check out anything related to Spawn as far as like feature, I would highly recommend the HBO animated series. Long before I recommended the movie, even though John Leguizamo was phenomenal as the clown, right? What do you think was the greatest downfall of that film?
Well, I'm a big fan of Spawn. Actually, Spawn got when I was like younger, it wasn't too much into you know Superman and you know I do like Batman; it's one of my favorites. But Spawn really caught my eye. Like, oh man, this is you know like this is a badass guy, and you know the story and all that got me hooked. So I don't know. I didn't hate the movie per se. Like, I mean, I guess it was like very maybe it wasn't done at the right time. I guess I don't know budget wise. What I really did like was they didn't abuse like CGI like other movies. like right now, even so, like there was a lot of prosthetics, which I love. Like, the difference between Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, you see a lot of CGI in The Hobbit, and it doesn't feel that real. That I really like about the Spawn, like the suit and all that.
Well,
But
yeah,
I don't know, maybe,
they even made a real Violator. You know what I
yeah, yeah,
mean? As
yeah, it
far
was
as
like
they
badass.
made a full scale Violator at points. So I totally get your point on that.
Yeah. So I didn't hate it, like honestly didn't hate it. I was maybe the hype for me was expecting like this is gonna be the badass movie on comic book, and it kind of died real fast. And actually what I hated is like a lot of people didn't like it, so it pretty much died. Like I don't know, like Dread. A lot of people like Dread, the new one, but it died because it wasn't big budget. Like I mean, like it didn't make that much money, I guess.
Oh my God, look, Honor, you like brought up like 20 questions in my head all at once. I love it because firstly, I agree. Like Spawn died a little quick. I'd love to see they continue it. Even more so with Dread. Because I don't know if you noticed,
Oh
like,
my goodness.
right, what, here? Right? That's
Yeah.
Judge Death, right?
Okay.
I would have loved to have seen them reach the Dark Judges within Dread, and
Yeah.
I know that's a whole sci-fi blah 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 and something they did way later. Oh my God, I wanted that dude because Dredd was phenomenal. Judge Dredd, it's kind of cheesy, but it's pretty dope as far as if you were going
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
it expecting a cheesy film. Dredd, oh my God, I
Ooh.
wanted Judge Death so bad, and like I don't care if it was the third or fourth film, I needed it, right? I
Yeah.
needed Judge Death. But let's flip that whole script. Why is your favorite character Batman?
Because he's
Well,
awesome.
I
like
shut up, Hardaway. No, he's not. He's a damn
it's
psychopath. You hear me?
it's kind of similar like to Spawn for me. Like I like antagonist characters, like always. I don't know why. Like I like in Mortal Kombat, I like Scorpion, and then Spawn is kind of similar back, story. Like he went to hell and all
Yeah,
that and stuff like that. And for Batman, it's like Superman for me is like kind of boring. Like this guy has all the powers and like he can kill everyone in a second. Batman is a complex character because he doesn't have superpowers. Yeah, he's rich and all that, but the guy's kind of psycho, So it's more interesting as a person.
wait. You said kinda psycho? I think that's
Super
an
psycho.
look, that is an extreme
He's not
understatement.
that crazy.
Batman is out of his damn mind, Hardaway. I don't know what you're
He's
talking
not
about.
out of his
That's look,
mind.
look. Ariel would not have said the story he did. Check out episode 3, right?
Yes, it's episode 3. Yeah.
Episode 3 of the questionnaire to get more into that. But look, Ariel has one of the greatest stories for Batman that's never been told. I'll tell you after the show if you want to know, but we ain't getting into that. Y'all gotta go check out episode 3. You can't tell me it's not, Hardaway.
Wait, what? It was
The
a good
fucking
storyline. It was a good storyline
it
idea.
damn right it was, man. That's because
It was.
Batman
I'm not saying,
fundamentally is out of
mind
his
you, I'm not
mind.
saying I wouldn't dislike reading it. I would, but it couldn't be more than like a 3-part miniseries.
Dude, you could do a 12-issue arc with that. Don't even give me no shit, right? That's neither here nor there. I do find it very interesting though that your most favorite and least favorite superheroes are DC's two bigs, right?
I actually noticed I noticed that when I was like, the questionnaire on the stuff, like, this is why is like with DC because I do like Marvel a lot and I work for Marvel. Well, I work for Marvel and DC some time ago, but like, it's like why DC? Like, I don't know, maybe from all comic books characters, Superman for me is like again like kind of boring, but for example, I like Wolverine a lot, and I know it's like that character. A lot of people like it. He's such a badass. But I like the factor that he heals and all that. He's like super old guy. Like, for example, Logan, the movie, the last one, that was one of my favorites. Like, you see like that human aspect. That guy's tired and all that.
Oh,
He's not
well,
all powerful.
I gotta bring it up then. What do you think as far as what they've plotted for Deadpool 3 at this point, and what they've kind of teased. I'm
I
assuming
guess
you've seen it.
Yeah. I'm not. I don't remember in which year was supposed Logan to be because I know it's kind of a near future,
2029.
right?
It was 2029.
So I guess they're just gonna make the movie like before that. I guess. So we'll see. I mean, that would make sense. But I mean, I'm excited for it. You know, Deadpool is pretty cool.
All right, so I got a bone to pick with him a little bit. All right.
Oh, we just
Why you
look.
gotta hate
I
my?
apologize, Ander. We just picking bones today.
Yeah. I got the whole wishbone picked right now because I'm trying to figure out why you hating on my guy Aquaman.
Oh no, I don't have hate for Aquaman. It's cool, man.
No,
Like,
I'm just playing on the hate part. But why is he your least favorite character growing up?
it's like no, actually, well, there's a lot of debate right now with the new Aquaman, right? But that's had nothing to do with like for me, it's like the character actually is a badass, and I really like his attitude. You know, you don't know sometimes he's a villain or a hero. You don't know. What I didn't like back in the day was just the character design. That's it. That's the only thing. Like it was too simple, Like
I can completely agree with that. I cannot argue.
Yeah,
his design was
fucking
goofy.
scale, dirt, and everything. Yeah, it was pretty terrible. I can't.
Yeah, it wasn't very creative. Like I don't know how that. Yeah. But I mean, the character is badass.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong.
Submariner was better.
Namor come first, right?
Oh yeah, I mean Namor.
Yeah, Namor is first.
Yeah, I just can't remember, man, because that's a situation where DC and Marvel have technically played off one another so much. I mean, let's be real honest. Deadpool is a rip off of Deathstroke. That's just the truth of it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he's just a better version, though. I'm sorry.
Deadpool is goddamn right.
I think.
Huh?
I think it happened with not Shazam. It was Captain Marvel. I don't remember, but with Superman, I don't know.
Well, no, the Sentry.
Yeah.
It's an obvious ripoff of the Superman. I mean, there's so many cases.
There's Hyperion too. Let's be real. When it comes to Marvel, they have like plenty of Superman. They have plenty of Superman.
I mean,
DC has a few Superman as well. You got to remember, there's Apollo. But
I mean, if you want to go way back, you could even say Guardian as far as from the Shi'ar. But I mean, you got the Guardian. You got
Guardian was more Black Adamist with his attitude, like I'll smash you in the face, and if you die because of it, oh well. That was kind of how the Gladiator thought about it. Like if I hit you and you didn't survive that hit, that's your fault, not mine. But now crap. I had a question. Oh, yes. If you were to pick a lantern ring, which lantern ring would you hold?
Ooh.
You mean like colors and all that? Like
yeah. Like if you got to pick your faction. So the indigo, blue, violet, or you have to be a female, go through the sex change on that one. The whole Star Sapphire thing. The green, red, avarice, or orange, yellow, white, black.
I would probably go with the green one, the main with the original one, because I don't know, maybe just as a comic book colorist, that's one of my, I don't know why, but it's one of my favorite colors to work with. And I haven't worked on, no, I did some stuff with DC back like 10 years ago, JLA, and I did color some Green Lanterns, but it was just like on the background, But I've done a lot of commission and stuff like that, and I always like the design, but you can play a lot with greens and stuff. For example, like yellow, the designs on all the lanterns and all the stuff looks pretty cool, because you can make a really cool contrast in space being so dark. It works good with yellow. So I mean, maybe that's some technical stuff, but for me, like visually, is the green. I like it.
So in that end, man, I mean, we haven't said that you are specifically a colorist, right? Which I'm a firm believer that without every aspect of comic book creator, whether it be the editor, the writer, the colorist, the inker, I mean everything, nothing will come together properly, right? So what's your opinion as far as the layers that it goes to within creating a comic book? Because there's many. And there's many I don't think people think about. You know what I mean? I think people mainly think about the writer and the main artist. And that's really it. But someone like you adds a depth to the comic, man, because you're sitting there, adding shading and this and that and the colors and blah blah blah, which adds a whole different level of detail. Why do you think people so much focus on just the writers and the initial artists as far as the guy that's doing the penciling?
Well, I mean, that has happened to me before as well. Sometimes we don't even get in the credits, like even in a cover, like you get to make a cover as colorist, and maybe you can put your signature, very small there, but sometimes you don't get credited. It happens to inkers too, but not as much as colorists. But I don't know because sometimes uh, it can happen both ways. Sometimes you can get like a badass line art and inks, and if you're not a good colorist, you can fuck that up, But sometimes it happens a lot. But sometimes maybe the line art's not that good, or inker screwed up, and you have to fix a lot of stuff as colorist. Like, for example, depending on the style, you have like heavy inks. A lot of black and white kind of, because there's a lot of different styles.
Yeah.
Usually the penciler and inker are letting you know where the shadow is. Sometimes depends on the style, because if you work, for example, I don't know, like Udon, like Capcom, like all the Street Fighter kind of artwork, they don't do that. It's just a line art, and they don't put the shadows, so you have to. It's different. So in comic book, but sometimes as colorists, it doesn't make sense when they where they put the shadows, or sometimes they put a lot of crosshatch, or they make like ink wash, like it's not pure black and white. You can see like grayscales, and that's a pain in the ass for the colorist, because you want to paint, I don't know, the skin tone of someone, and it darkens a lot. So I don't know. I mean, honestly, not because I'm a colorist, but colorists deserve a lot more, props, because sometimes, also because the deadlines, penciler gets behind, inker gets behind, so you
Oh
have
my
3 month
God.
deadline, I don't know, and there's a week, you get the book, and hey, you have to finish this whole comic book in a week, 22 pages, and sometimes less than that. So that's a pain in the ass. And sometimes colorist is something very mechanic. Like, you cannot get even creative. Like, I gotta put some shadows here, and a secondary light source, and make it shining, sweet. And no, man. So sometimes deadlines are just pain in the ass, and sometimes you don't even get your name out there. It sucks.
So let me say,
Hey, you heard the man.
yeah, and I mean, for
Hold
real.
on, I gotta defend my dude real quick.
Go ahead,
DC,
bro.
Marvel, Image, all you comic book companies, man, you better put my homies on there. The colors need to be recognized.
Yeah, man.
I'll start.
So,
I'll make a diss track on all y'all. Have jokes on every last one of you. Pull out the CEO names. I got you on LinkedIn.
Did you
Don't
just
play with me.
threaten to diss Marvel, DC, Image, and every? Bro, we're trying to host a comic book show. I don't think that'll go over well for us. I'm just saying, Hardaway, right?
Hey,
But
I got love for the workers, man.
I think you make a valid point, man. Like it's something that for some reason doesn't. And look, I know for a fact that without the colorist in so many comic books I've read, I mean, there are some examples that like the colorist doesn't matter because The Walking Dead didn't
yeah,
have one. You know what I
totally.
mean? Sin City, it was so minimal that you know what I mean? It's like if the colorist job should have been real easy on Sin City, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, dude, I'm
The
just being
red
real.
shoes.
But there's other comics where if it wasn't
All
for
right.
the colorist, man, so much story would have been lost as far as that. Now I'm curious, man. You say deadlines are an issue. Um, do you ever find to where like you about don't make a deadline because you're trying to make something better?
Yeah, happens a lot actually, because uh well, I kind of learned it like probably most colorists the bad way, because when I'm working on my computer, I have a big ass screen, so you make a lot of zoom and all the details. You're gonna put in this shadow on the nose and reflect some light source here and all that, but it's gonna print like this, so it's like it doesn't even matter. Sometimes you overdo it and people don't even notice, or they don't even appreciate it. Like I'm super happy with what I did, but I mean people don't even notice. So it's like you're just losing a lot of time. So sometimes actually like colorists, they go with very simple styles, like the quickest thing they can turn in. And a lot of colorists, like they make like this badass cover where they have the spotlight or time to shine, but sometimes because of the deadlines, you just like, I mean, you just gotta get the shadows and lighting right, and that's it. Few textures, make it little, maybe there's usually in a comic book, I would say there's usually like maybe the splash page, or like this is like the, I don't know, a scene that is gonna be like the money shot, so you can put a lot more detail. But sometimes there's a lot of dialogue, stuff like that, very secondary stuff that you can just color it and next for the next page,
Can I
So what would
ask
you
you?
prefer?
Oh, go ahead, bro.
I'm sorry. What would you prefer to do? Would you prefer to do it the speedway or the slow and steady?
I like to do it like steady. Actually, I work a lot like in more indie publishers. I work for DC back in the day, and I work for Disney, different big companies. I work for Marvel, but development and consumer products, not pages, like characters, stuff like that. But the different thing is like I work a lot like in indie publishers because they gave me a lot of creative freedom. Like Green Lantern is green, that we all know that. But with this indie publishing stuff, it's like there's a lot more different styles that you can work with, and they're like, I don't know, do your thing, and you have freedom to do this, and that's fun for me. And yeah, they pay less than big publisher, that's true, but sometimes deadlines are not as tight, and you have more creative freedom. And because I just love coloring, like my work, so it gives me the chance to evolve. I'm gonna try this and see how it looks. Not coloring the same way for a year or 2 years or 3 years.
All
So
right.
that's one of the main strengths. I can jump from different styles, like anime kind of thing, or cuts coloring. That will be like the most common in American comic book. But for
Mm-hmm.
example, in Europe, they use a lot of styles. It's more like it kind of looks like oil, like painterly kind of feel. So it's different. And I kind of do all these styles because for me it's more fun just to do the same thing all over the time, So if that makes sense.
Yeah, man. Look,
Mm-hmm.
I just gotta ask, Ander,
Yeah.
and I don't mean to put you in a spot when I say this, but I feel like I'm gonna. Right. Out of every company that you've worked for, what was your favorite company to work for?
Indie publishing. Well, actually,
Well, no, when
uh,
you say indie publishing, what do you mean exactly? Because I mean, a
like
lot of people
like
would call indie publishing a lot of different things within the comic book industry. Fuck, a lot of people would call indie publishing anything beyond Marvel and DC, to be real
yeah, it's
honest,
true, it's
because
true, it's
they
true.
don't
Yeah.
know comic books. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't call Image indie publishing, even though it,
No.
in a certain capacity, is. But you know what I mean?
Walking Dead has said, look, Walking Dead took Image to a whole new level.
But man, look, Spawn did that shit a long time ago. Hardaway, don't even get into that whole conversation. He
Spawn was
didn't
the
take it to a
originator.
Walking Dead
All right,
level, but
if
whatever,
that's the
right?
case, then if it wasn't for Fantastic Four, that crap ass 76, like how old was that movie? Come on now. Like if that's the case, let's bring back that one. That's what started Marvel. Started Marvel. All right.
Uh, well, I
I'm sorry.
actually I actually enjoyed working with DC. It was a kind of short time. I don't want to put like names out there, but there was an
No,
issue. I had an agent back in the day, and we had an issue like personal. That's why I stopped working at DC. But the
Oh,
time I worked at DC Comics, like you can tell because I was reading all the emails from the editors and they were like super happy. And sometimes, well, that's a downside of like more indie publishing is like sometimes there's more inexperienced people and they ask for a lot of requests like, hey, can you change this? Can you tweak that? You know, it happens a lot. But when I worked in DC, they were like, ah, perfect, it's perfect, no changes, approved, approved. And it was like, huh, I wasn't expecting that, you know, because it's a big company. And no, like was like for me was like super uh was like deadlines were like kind of tight, know that. But like payment was good, like deadlines weren't as, you know, I had worse deadlines than those. And editors were like really cool guys. So I enjoy it a lot.
right, man. In the conversation of deadlines, have you ever had one that you didn't meet?
Yeah, not with the big companies, small companies. Yeah, but like dude,
You're like,
like
no. When it was one of the bigger ones, I got my ass in gear.
oh yeah, like you get on the blacklist and you know that's it. Actually, well, I'm just gonna dig in a little bit with that. The DC
Proceed.
issue, DC Comics issue was I helped another colorist, and I had a trip to LA at the time, and because that happens a lot, like feelings, like hey man, I need work, and because one of my strengths is to adapt to different styles, I can mimic different styles. Um, he said like, hey man, can you do this and that? And I need a favor with 5 pages. And I was like, yeah man, I can help you out. And he was like, okay, I'm gonna send you page, I don't know, 14, 11, 21, like random pages, you know. And like, okay, like is that what you need? It's fine. So I had the only thing I told him that I was like, hey, I had a trip into late and going on Friday, so send those pages ASAP, you know. And like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So it was Wednesday, Thursday, like, dude, send me the pages, man. I need because I'm out of here, you know, and tomorrow. It was like, oh shit, yeah. And I said, like, dude, send me any other pages. You want 5 pages? I can help you with 5 pages, but don't wait for those pages that because he was waiting for those, you know, so he didn't got it yet. Like, just give me other pages so I can help you out. Oh yeah, you know, yeah, fuck it, yeah. I'm gonna send you 5 pages, the ones that I have, so you can help me with those. Okay, yeah. He sent me the pages. I colored them, finished them, uploaded to the FTP, and I told him, dude, you're good with that? Oh yeah, we're good. Thanks, man. Real helpful on that. Okay, and I went to LA. So apparently, I don't know if he forgot to, or he didn't meet the deadline, and he forgot to. Maybe he got mixed up. I don't know. I colored the 5 pages for him that he asked, and when I came back, I didn't even check my email the whole weekend. I had like 40 emails. I'm not exaggerating, like for real. The my agent and DC, they were like, "Where are you?" and "Where the page?" Like there was one page missing. So it was, I don't know. This guy was working at DC for a few years now, and so they blame it on me. You know, they blame it on me, like, ah, this guy didn't send the page. Like, wait, dude, I helped you out with 5 pages. You never sent that one. Maybe you sent it on Friday. I don't know. But I never got that page. Uh, I got home. I saw the emails, and the page was attached, you know, to the email. But that was like the same day. And I downloaded it. I painted like super fast and sent it over. Like he already finished it. But they got so pissed with that happened because they missed the deadline. And it wasn't even my gig, you know. I just helped this guy, and he was like, "No, you're out of the company. They're never gonna hire you again." We got an argument, and that's how I got out of the company from DC. And I was like, work was really smooth. I was happy there, and that happened.
Dang.
It happens, you know. There's
That's a
these guys will.
terrible, terrible story, Andre, and I'm sorry you had to deal with it like that. Oh my
Yeah.
god, dude, that sounds
Yeah.
that.
It sounded like your agent needed to just eat a dang taco and call it a
Oh my
day.
god.
Like,
No, it was. I mean, I kind of talked with the guy later on, like, hey, I mean, it already happened. I'm not trying to be like, you know, it already passed and I got screwed. But they needed a name, to because it was their responsibility, So it was like, oh, the new guy, fuck this guy. So
Well, let me ask you then, man. How many times do you think in the comic industry things like that happen, to where
I
there's an issue with a deadline and just essentially the new guy gets blamed? Oh, well, this guy ain't been around a while, even though it's probably technically not his fault. Like, do you think that's a fault in the comic industry as far as that happening?
don't know how often that does happen, but what I do think is like, big names, because for example, there are big names in the industry that I don't like their work. But there's some people that are like badass artists that they don't have big names. But the big names have a lot of weight in the industry. So if you put like in context what just happened, a big name, there's always gonna be like, there's a lot of people trying to break in, and there's a lot of artists like, competing the whole time for gigs. So big names, they're always gonna get it easier, I guess. So I mean, it makes sense that that happens. If that makes sense.
No, it
No, it
does.
does.
As
It
a
does.
hip hop artist,
Yeah.
it makes sense more than you would probably think that it does. But that's only, like I said, because me and Hardaway are both hip hop artists, so we get it, but from a different perspective. You know what I mean? Um, that's the Hardaway asked
All right.
something because whatever, that broke my
Oh
brain
yeah.
a
No.
little bit
No.
and made my head
Yeah.
hurt.
That hurt.
Yeah, it's like for
I
real,
was,
bro. You feel my pain right here. You
yeah,
Zalian
bro.
brother of mine,
The
like,
pain.
Jesus,
Hey, get the
bro. Right here. It
get
just
the
hurt.
defibrillator.
Shit. Can somebody get me one? I think I might be about to have a heart attack. Like talking about it's
Word.
really that similar. Oh my god, my head. Ander, you made my head
You are
hurt.
the second guest that hates reggaeton.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's true.
That's big. Like most Latin American people, I mean, they love that shit. Like it's very common. But I just can stand it, man. Like, no.
No, I
I still
feel
don't know
you.
what the hell it
Now here's the
is.
thing, though. This is going to do. Hold on. This is what's going to really shake up pop culture hardcore, and I can't believe you actually said it. And I'm like, it's one of those movies where I like it, but the book was better. Like Clockwork Orange.
I hate that fucking
Yeah.
movie, man. So
Oh,
overrated shit.
oh man, I
Oh
love
my
you for
god.
that.
I'm sorry, a lot of people love it, and I get shit when I say that all the time. Like, it's a fucking masterpiece. Like, no, it isn't. Like,
Hey, look, man. I'll say Star Wars isn't a masterpiece, and oh my god, I don't even like to publicly say that because
I almost went through the phone and hit you.
yeah, see exactly. My fucking co-host is about to punch me over the statement that I just made, but I'm like, no, it's
It's
really
like,
not
hold
a
on, bro.
masterpiece. I'm sorry, it's not. It's a retelling of a mythical story that's been told 1,000 times. I'm not saying it
Which
wasn't
one?
done well,
I don't even want to get
but
into it. I don't even want to get into it because it's going to annoy me. I know it will. And we're not interviewing me. We're interviewing our guests and whatnot. But
So, what about specifically about Clockwork Orange? Do you think made it so overrated? I'm curious.
look, like, well, from what I've seen, like, I was studying graphic design, and all these guys that enjoyed or liked, like, I don't know how you say it, like artsy kind of movies. Like, oh, it was directed by, what was his name? This guy from
Um,
Odyssey. Um,
oh
yeah,
shit, man! The fact
Kubrick.
that I can't remember
Kubrick.
that is annoying the
Yeah,
crap out of me.
Stanley Kubrick, right?
Huh?
don't
Kubrick.
I don't
Yeah, no,
know,
it is
and now I'm
Stanley
all
Kubrick.
sad
It is Stanley Kubrick,
because
Uh,
the
it's not one of my
director.
favorite movies. Like
Yeah.
I
yeah,
like some of the scenes.
yeah, it was directed by Stanley Kubrick. Yeah, the
Yes.
guy from Odyssey,
Yeah.
2001.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So the guy's great. I like his stuff and all that. But I always thought that, hey, man, I don't know, for example, Picasso was great and all that, but I didn't like Cubism. Like, not everything he does is a masterpiece. They can do shit stuff too, you know? And it happens to all of us. Sometimes I don't like the stuff that I do. And sometimes this badass artist is like everything they do is fucking masterpiece. No, it's not. It's just, I don't know. The movies for me is so random and like they try to make it like very psychological and all that. It's, I don't know. I seen it like twice, like, nah, it's not good. It's like stretching.
It's
They're trying
funny,
too much.
man. That is one of the ones I've never been able to really sit through and truly, like, man, I agree with you, in all sincerity. Now, to come back to what you just said, though, have you ever had a piece where you're working on it and you've had to throw it away so many times because it was just pissing you off that you couldn't hit it the level you wanted to?
You mean like to actually rejecting a work,
Like, no,
gig?
you're sitting there coloring it and you get the page done and you're like, son of a bitch, and you have to restart.
Shit, every day, man. But I mean, not from scratch, because you know it's a lot of time and deadlines and all that. But some like I don't know. But sometimes you're like, shit, this is not looking good. Like for example, I was coloring some characters like last week, like but just like the heads, you know, the faces for some development. It was like I love that shit. Like, oh shit, this is shiny and shit. They're gonna put some, you know, lighting effects and fire and stuff. And then 2 days later, I saw it. Like, oh man, this is shit. Like, and I started over. You know, like I didn't like it. That happens sometimes. It's like when you were at school and you, I don't know, you write, you know, your homework and you don't see any typos and you know everything looks great. But you see it a day later and you see a lot of typos. You know, it's the same thing. It happens a lot. I mean, it happens to artists a lot.
I can verify that as a hip hop artist. Sometimes I'll write a verse and then go back and be like, what the fuck was I thinking with these 6 lines, man? I need to rewrite all of this. It's terrible. It's not like
Let
it's,
me take this syllable out here. This word is unnecessary.
yeah.
Yeah.
Switch this one out. Now, I
yeah.
got a question for you, sir. If there was a character or series that you would get that you would like to color, what series would that be?
Wow. Actually, I like I mentioned, I like Green Lantern. Even it's not like my favorite character, but visually it's like very cool, you know.
Mhm.
And it's funny because at one point I had to work for My Little Pony, you know. I get all kind of works. Like you never
Nice.
know. Yeah, you
No,
never know
my
what you're gonna
daughter
get.
would love you.
Yeah. I'm gonna send you some prints when I still have prints. So
Awesome.
but it was like a lot of people said, "What?" Because I always say, like, "Dude, it was fun because there was a lot of fucking colors, you know. It was fun, honestly, working with it. And sometimes Batman is a badass character, but it's like, oh, grays, darks, and blues. That's
M-
it.
Man,
You
Ander,
know?
all I know is based on the conversation we have, I would love to see you color Savage Dragon.
Ooh,
That
Yeah,
would be fun.
that's
That would be
yeah.
that's one that like I think like you would, especially based on everything you said during the entirety of this episode, man. I would really, because it's a very bright comic book. You know what I mean?
yeah, that would be fun. Like I kind of like I don't know. I'm open for any different styles because it's like you evolve a lot, but trying different things like different styles is fun because sometimes it's like I don't know, you have 6 issues of the same book. It's every day in the same style, same character, same color palette. It's like shit, I need something different, you know. Like I need to, you know, you get hungry with, you know, creative stuff. So yeah, that'll be fun. I actually been, I don't know, like 10 years because you're into hip hop stuff, right? Hip hop artists and all that.
Yeah, man, that's
I
what we do.
I worked a little bit for Master P, not the guy.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
yeah.
worked for Master P. We made a comic book for his daughter, Symphonic. She's a rapper or something like that. And I got to meet the guy. We went to his headquarters and all that. It was pretty fun because it was something entirely new for me. Like, oh, now it's music in comic books.
Wait, you did colors on a Master P comic book?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I have a picture with the guy.
What Hardaway just said. Yeah, what Hardaway just said. I can't add I can't add anything else besides that. Is just awesome, bro.
Yeah,
For real.
that's fucking great.
Yeah,
that is. Say, oh,
yeah, that
check
is
out
beyond.
The comic.
Yeah. I forgot because it was a few years back. I forgot to send you. It's kind of old artwork, but I should have sent you some of the stuff. I honestly forget about it. Yeah.
Hey man, so let me ask: do you ever have that happen to where you've done so much, and then somebody's like, "Oh, this is your work," and you've totally forgotten you've done it?
Yeah. No. Yeah. A lot of a few times for sure. Like, hey, you work on this book, and like what? Like, because I worked like for years, been working every day on this industry. Like sometimes you get Kickstarters, yes, commissions. You don't know if that Kickstarter actually, made it. So sometimes like, oh, you work on that project, like what? I only color, maybe covers or concept art, a few pages, because a lot of times they make like, a pitch for Kickstarters and all that. They hire you for 5 pages and that's it. And they actually made it, and sometimes they change artists. I mean, which is fine, different styles. They're still like polishing it. So, but sometimes you like, just forget about it.
Well, based on what you just said, man, let's flip into 2 topics real quick, right?
Ooh.
I want to know your opinion of one. What do you think as far as Kickstarter being used for comic book industry, just to get things off the ground and how it has been? And 2, what do you think about the fact that of webcomics and how they are affecting the industry as a whole? I've seen you laugh at that shit, Hardaway. Just go on with it.
I knew it. Well, yeah, I really want to know too.
I don't know. For me, I mean, because I get a lot of work. For me, it's like the more the merrier. I don't mind. I mean, it's like if the industry grows, printed or web, that's fine with me. Or Kickstarter. I mean, it's hard to compete with Image, Dark Horse, Marvel. It's hard. And there's some guys have like crazy cool ideas, and they save some money and hire some artists, which I had a lot of work because of that. Like, hey man, how much do you charge for 5 pages and a cover, this and that? So that, okay, it's extra work for me. So webcomics, Kickstarter, all that, I think I only see a positive like thing for the industry. Like, I mean, if it were for me, I don't have the time, but I think there should be like, for example, like Comic-Con, but I don't know, like an IndieCon, without the big ones, because there's a lot of hungry people, artists, editors, writers that, I mean, you go to Comic-Con, I mean, you're just a ghost, like they will notice you, like I was mentioning, big names. So, I mean, there's a lot of cool stories a lot of people develop, and I mean, sometimes they're rooting lately a lot more for animation than comic books because it's very close, to make pull out new stories from people without big names is hard. And I think a lot of people are doing their own publishing or going into animation. So, I mean, we want new stories, man. Like, for example, I don't want to get into that, but like, I don't want to get canceled. But for example, instead of making, I don't know,
hey,
the Asian Hulk.
Firstly, Ander, we are approved by the Comic Book Code Authority. Not really, but that's besides the point. I'll still put the shit on the podcast because screw them, right? That's a whole other point altogether. And that's the thing.
If they try to ban you, bro, I got your back. I know plenty of people that got ideas and will pay to get comics drawn and whatnot. And let me run game. Let me run game. I won't have y'all on web shooting so fast, making money and whatnot. There'll be another sweet home. So
what do you think of that, Ander, in that regard, as far as my co-host here bringing up webtoons and all of that. What do you think of the transition from, you know, good old paper, right? Right. To the fact that it's become so much more digital. And I mean, I know that's a thing across all entertainment mediums, whether it be movies, music. I mean, you name it, it's all going digital. What do you think of that and the effect it's having on the comic book industry overall, though?
Uh, for a lot of, especially indies, it's easier to go digital because printing is expensive. There's also, it's a pain in the ass to get a printing done right. Like, oh, it's too dark, you already printed like 100 books, it happens. And usually it's colorist faults, usually, how they prep the last files. So, uh, but honestly, I don't think people get that much into digital as printed comics. I mean, I don't see it that dying anytime soon. Like, even for me, I rather hold a book and read it than a Kindle and our webcomic on the screen. But sometimes you want to go to the couch or being outside, just read a book. I mean, that's still there, in society. Like we like it. It's so all digital. I don't know. People, I think, got a little bit tired, like kind of fast. Like they just want to go back to comic books. But for some artists, it's not a possibility because of it is very expensive.
Shoot.
I get that point. Now, I'm curious, man. I mean, with what you've just said. And I know my co-host is about to disagree with the shit out of me. Because I mean, you've seen things turn to more of a digital. So are you saying with what you said that you think that things are going to turn back more to a physical?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, digital is gonna keep growing because that's just inevitable. But printed comic books is like, I don't think it's going away. A lot of people, I mean, I've seen it as an artist and as a reader, like people usually prefer printed. That's
Hold
the
on a
truth.
minute, though. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just noticed you have a pen in your right hand with a specific glove on, like you're just ready to work right
Oh,
now.
I was working like before we started, and I just, you know, just kept it. But I always like this, like all the time with the pen in my hands, all the time.
So I just had to note that real quick because I was just like, wait a second, he legit has a glove on to make sure he don't get like, you know, arthritis ostensibly from drawing so much.
Uh, it's not like that. It's like on the tablet. This goes like with the hand. Sometimes
Uh,
gets a little like stuck, and this flows a lot smoother when you work. Yeah, that's the glove, but it
all
does.
right, all right. I had to note that real quick. I honestly did. So you do most of your work on a tablet then, as opposed to doing it
Yeah,
physical?
I have I used to use a Wacom. A lot of people say Wacom, but I think it's Wacom. But right now I'm using a Huion that is like a Chinese brand, which is really good. It's like a 22 inches big, but some people use tablets. There's a difference. I don't know how much you know, but there's tablets that just like a paper and you see the monitor. But on this one, you paint straight from on the screen.
Well, then let's flip it another way. What effect do you think technology has had on the creation of comics?
Well, it's a lot. Like I mean, even for I mean, it's so cool for me, like to see, for example, when I was a kid, I couldn't find any comic books here. I mean, not just the creation. I mean, like you see comic books from Europe now. I mean, here, kids can see comics from all the way from Europe, and I don't know, Asian kids uh, can get to access, I don't know, to Marvel comic books, right? But for the creation and technical aspect, I mean, it's amazing because, well, back in the day, the screen tone, they put some paper and stuff, and it was way slower. And now that the industry has gone like, it's way bigger, deadlines and all that, again, you got to be faster in digital. I mean, you can control, colors, printing. Sometimes I had to fix the artist's work, like, oh, that looks weird. And he has some Photoshop, just cut and paste stuff and fix it. So I mean, it's 100 times easier this way.
All right, Hardaway ain't got nothing, so I got something else, right?
No. I was waiting for webtoons. You guys had y'all are on your little thing and whatnot. Because I
All right, well, hold
personally
on. You get to that in
think
a
digital
moment, man.
comics are the truth.
You get to that in a moment, right? I want to know, out of curiosity, then, what do you think of the effect of comics being so brought into the other medium, to the point where, in all frankness, I have watched movies as a fan of comic books since I can remember, man. Like I fucking like I'm the like Stan Lee is my greatest influence as a hip hop artist because he's the reason I have the vocabulary I do. I say that sincerely. There are movies that I have watched that I didn't know were based on comic books because, one, I didn't pay enough attention to the credits, uh, and two, I was just like, they're reaching so deep at this point. What do you think of the effect of that as far as the industry, and I mean film and TV, reaching into comic books?
Well, I remember I read once that Marvel back in the day made all their income from comic books and toys, and that's it. But now it's not even 1%. It's just movies. So
Oh my gosh.
that's
Wait,
true. I mean,
wait, are you sincere? It's not even 1%?
nope.
I mean, I
It's like
believe that. It's just kind of depressing because I wish people would fucking read more.
I think it's like I think it's like 0.1% or something like that. I mean, we should do some research on that, but I'm pretty sure something like that. The thing is, I mean, the good side of it is like they probably make more comic books than before because now, I mean, when I was a kid, you read comic books, that's the nerdy guy, and stuff like that. But now comic books are cool, and the girls like comic books and superheroes, and I mean everyone is into that, and young, kids and adults. But back in the day, it wasn't like that. You were like, oh, the weird kid that likes all the weird
Oh,
stuff.
now look, I was at Comic Book University today. That's the comic book shop that I do all my business at. It's where I picked up plastic, vinyl. I mean, several things. I got Evil Ernie on order. I got all Something Is Killing the Children. It's where I do my business as far as getting comic books. Speaking to Dave, shout out to Dave. He said he's got kids coming in trying to, like, of 10 years of age, trying to buy things like The Boys and Crossed. What's your opinion of that? You know what I mean? Because I know there are a lot of parents, it's like, oh, it's a comic book, it's harmless. No, it's not.
No, no. Mm-mm. Yes. Well, that's the downside of it, I guess. Well, I don't know. It's very different from, I guess, from the States. I live in the States as well because my dad's from San Diego. But from the States and Mexico, I see a lot of difference, like in kids in society, because here they don't ban. I mean, I remember some Japanese animation in Mexico. Anime was like big in Mexico, I think, before in the States because we had a lot of influence from Japan, many things. Like we had Knights of the Zodiac, something like that. It was like super gore and bloody. In the States, it got banned. But I'm like on the fence with that because, for example, the Boys, I don't think it's a comic book or TV show for kids. It
No.
is not.
That's why,
But
look, man,
here's
I
like
said
I didn't give a fuck.
I gave Dave props because he said he'd have 10-year-olds walking up trying to buy The Crossed by Garth Ennis, which, oh my God, no 10-year-old should lay their hands on that book. Period. It's. I love you, Garth. We got to get you on the questionnaire one day, but that comic needs to remain a comic. It never needs to be anything else. The Boys you can do, that's fine because you can kind of soften it up. You can never do that
Yeah.
with Frost. But even the comic book editions, or the comic books themselves, from The Boys to Cross to, I mean, a number of other things, Swingers from Matt Hawkins. I could sit here and go on and on. like, why do you think it is that parents are so inclined to be like, oh, well, this is just children fodder, and not check into what the fuck their kids are actually reading?
I mean, well, I don't know. That's just parents, I guess, not being responsible. But I mean, I guess it would be ignorance, maybe. Like, oh, it's a cartoon, but I mean, or animation. Like Japanese animation, it can be like, damn, dude, like hentai and all that stuff. There's a lot of kids watching that stuff. Like, I mean, they shouldn't watching, maybe at, I don't know, puberty, but not at 6, 7, and same with what you're mentioning. Like, I mean, it's not for kids, and I guess it's ignorance because they think it's a cartoon is for kids. I had that. Like, I don't know. I met someone at a bar, and like, hey, what do you do for a living? Oh, I make comic books. Oh, that's so childish. And like, no, it's not for kids. I mean, there's a lot of stuff for adults. There's a whole industry. So I guess I would say it's just ignorance. It's for old ages.
And I think that's the thing that truly bothers me, Ander, is the fact that people don't realize that firstly, man, if you ain't got time to read a book, go read a comic book. It at least works your mind to the capacity that a book will in a lot of the same form. And there are endless comic books on endless subjects of anything you could think of, man. Where you're talking about swingers, like I said, from Matt Hawkins, shout out to him. You can check out episode 2. To, I Hate Fairyland. We're going to get Scotty Young on here, I promise. To everything
Cool.
Garth Ennis wrote, which goes from, actual war stories to Cross, which is, like I said, if anybody ever options that for a film or TV show, I think I might shoot them. All right?
Well, let me give you a very quick example. Like Love, Dead, and Robots. Have you seen that?
I've seen bits of it.
Netflix. Okay, well, yeah, it's not for kids. Period. Like, I mean, there's there's a good example. Like, I looks badass, and I'm sure kids will be like, oh, that's visually is striking, and kids can get like interested in it. But if you see like, okay, this is not for kids. That's just one example. But yeah.
No, it's not. I'm just like, dude, I'm lost for words how children think that they should be able to watch and or read some of that stuff. It's just like, no. Who? What kind of parents let your kids watch The Boys? Like, seriously, your kids? That don't make no sense to me.
Yeah, man.
Unknown.
What?
Really? Did you let your boy watch
Fuck
it?
no, I would not let my boy watch The Boys. What is wrong with you, Hardaway? I have more sense than that. Like, no, dude.
The way you were sitting there doing this, like,
dude. I did that in regards to like I can't believe a parent would let their child watch that. Because I mean, I'm a fan of The Boys. I've read The Boys. I've watched everything they've done to the series at this point. Like I said, if I'm going to be honest, Garth Ennis is probably one of my favorite authors. I mean, he's definitely in my top 5 as far as current comic book writers that does stuff. I got a sick sense of humor, Andre. I'm not going to even lie. It's just how it goes. There's a reason I'm into Deadpool and Evil Ernie. And
yeah. I love The Boys too. Yeah.
I like things that are kind of fucked up. But no, I would not let my 3-year-old watch The Boys, Hardaway. What is wrong with you? I will throw a chair at your ass.
I have a lot of things wrong with me, but that's not one of them.
I ain't got time to get into all that at all, bro. Come on. All right. I'm curious, man. You said your favorite comic book growing up was Spawn. What do you think of it currently?
Yeah.
Do you still keep up with Spawn?
I haven't, but I have like a few because I have like usually I'm more like I use Facebook. Most of my networking is Facebook. That's it. And
Can I say, Ander? Look, I'm gonna give you a recommendation that the gentleman that answers the phone at Dark Horse gave me. LinkedIn is wonderful.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I use it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, But I mean, I see on Facebook, I see a lot of artwork from some friends. They have friends coloring Spawn right now, and another guy, Carlo Barberi, he's drawing. So I mean, I haven't keep up with the story right now, but I've seen the artwork a lot of times. And it's still badass, At least I've seen the artwork. Like they always updating stuff, and I follow, of course, McFarlane and all that, and I think they're making an awesome job with it. I'm looking forward to the movie. We'll see what happens with that.
That I'm very curious of. I'm very hopeful that Jamie Foxx is able and Todd McFarlane are able to pull that off and do a
Yeah.
Spawn film that's a little more darker. I'm really hoping they bring in Sam and Twitch. Those are two of my favorite characters from that entire series. If you've read Spawn and you don't like Sam and Twitch, just don't comment.
Yeah.
Just don't comment. I don't need your comment. If you don't like Sam, and I won't even say that. If you don't like Sam or Twitch, you should at least like one of them two assholes, all right? If you don't comment. Do me a favor, because for real, those are two of the best characters from that entire series. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Purely my opinion.
Don't judge me.
What? You don't like Sam and Twitch?
No, I didn't. I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about me being weird.
We're both weird,
sir.
Hardaway, whatever, man.
Right. So check this out. You don't like Clockwork Orange, but please tell me you do like Monty Python Quest for the Holy Grail.
Yeah, I more or less. I like
more or less.
Yeah, I like it, but I mean, it's not like my favorite movie or anything. But I don't hate it like Clockwork Orange. I mean, it's not even close. It's fun.
No, all right, fair enough.
Yeah.
What is your favorite movie?
Oh, and I like a lot of. I think I put Lord of the Rings or something like that.
Yes, you did.
QUESTionaire. I like.
Yeah. You did say Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I
That's
love
your favorite series.
fantasy stuff, not the series, the movies, not the new
Okay,
series. Okay. No, the movies. Yeah, I used to read when I was a kid. I used to not have the time. I used to read Tolkien and all that, and I like fantasy. I like sci-fi. But it goes from I don't know, Lord of the Rings or sci-fi like Blade Runner stuff like that. I mean, I do like Star Wars. I work on Star Trek, but on the animation, Lower Decks. It was fun, because I like all the kind of stuff. So.
Oh, well, let me flip this to a political kind of conversation, right?
Okay.
Oh,
I'm curious, with the path humanity's currently on, you think we're headed to Star Wars or Star Trek?
Ooh.
Space Force.
Shut the hell up, Hardaway.
Okay, I like both. Okay, because when I was a kid, I used to watch the Star Trek TV shows, the very old ones, and I was into science and all the stuff I always had. I wanted to be an astronomer when I was a kid. I was a big fan of Carl Sagan and Neil deGrasse Tyson and all that shit. I loved all the stuff. But I like Star Wars a bit more, I guess, because it's just the I don't know, man, lightsabers and shit is fun.
Okay, no. But what I want to know is, as a society, where do you think we're more likely to end up?
Oh, Star Trek, I guess, but I mean,
dude, that is optimistic as fuck. Oh my god. You an optimist, bro. That's all I got to say. Because
no, wait, hey, hang on. Yeah, it's very optimistic to end up like Star Trek, but how our world is going, our society is going, it does make sense that it goes towards more Star Wars and fucked up like Tatooine, and fighting each other and all that stuff, and we see it like daily. We don't have a Star Trek society, not even now. I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, totally.
Let me flip this question,
but
real hard.
If we hold on.
Go ahead,
we don't have a Star Trek. We don't have a Star Trek society now, but if we allow certain radical political factions, Democrats, to have their way, we very well will have a one world totalitarian order.
Well, yeah, I think it can happen for sure. Anything can happen.
Man, look, all I know is this has been a phenomenal interview. And we're gonna do some general madness later on with Yonder as well, as I promise you that, right? Yeah, because we got some general madness planned over here at the questionnaire. Because I wanna, well, we'll get into that later. It's Deadpool, baby. Yeah, I am the Wade Wilson of hip hop, and if I'm not gonna bring it like fucking Wade would, then what's the point, right? I hope you've had a good time, bro. Before we wrap this up though, can I get you to shout out your name? And check out the questionnaire every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. And then spill some BS if you want to. I don't care, man. It's what it is.
So I think I lost you a little bit.
Man, don't tell me you lost me. I'm the unknown factor. I am unknown. Ain't nobody ever gonna find my ass. I figured that out like at least 8 years ago. That's a whole nother point though. No, I'm saying say your name and then check out the questionnaire every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. And then if you want to add something in, whatever flavor you want to add in, I am down with.
Well, thanks for everything, guys. My name is Ander Zarate. Check the questionnaire on Wednesday at 7 p.m., right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I was very happy to be here with you guys. It's been super fun and entertaining, honestly. It's like just like hanging out with friends and chilling. It's cool, man. I love it. It's nice. So, I don't know. Hope you see like my work. I don't know. I'm gonna put some links on it, maybe. And,
Oh no, yeah. Look, to check out Honor's looks, or to check out Honor's looks, because technically his looks is coloring. That's what he does. There'll be all kind of links in the description.
Right on.
Wherever you're watching this, to be frank, right? I want you to remember to like, subscribe, hit that bell. Well, I guess hitting that bell depends on what platform you are on, because I don't think Spotify has a bell. But still, like, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? So you can keep up with the quest that is the questionnaire. Yeah, because I promise you, it's just going to continue. And when we get to something else that I'm planning, oh, it's going to be awesome. And I'm loving it. And I think we're going to have Ander on at least one of those. I promise you. Yeah. But I do want to point out real quick. Yeah. If you've enjoyed this interview, right? What you can do, man, is you can send Ander, right? You can send him some of them old school Transformers, the metal ones, or some old school G.I. Joes, right?
Hell yeah.
Right. Or just some bomb ass tacos, which I, as the Wade Wilson of hip
Hell
hop,
yeah.
highly approve of, sir. Right now, if you've been annoyed by this, then do me a favor and send him a chupacabra that's just covered in seafood, right? That's what's up.
Good
Yeah?
God.
This is the questionnaire. I am the unknown factor, aka the Wade Wilson of hip hop, aka the human fucking distraction, because that's what it is.
And I'm Jay D-Day Hardaway, MC that likes gummies.
Have a good night, y'all.
Thanks, guys.